Here's our metal container. We call it the squash roof. I think that's kind of obvious why. You have bicycles on the back, squash hanging down, a couple of fruits. Last year we grew 40 squash up there. This year, I don't know, hundreds? It's rather nuts, actually. It's a squash forest hanging off the roof. There's tons of squash in there too. They're just, you can see the old label on the steel container. Good way to hide a steel container. I got a grape over there. A whole bunch of grapes. Coming around the end of the container now. Look, more squash. See if I can make my way through here. The zoo. This is the end of the container that opens, but it's getting tougher and tougher to open it. And there is our yellow jacket nest. It's massive. We hardly have any aphids in the garden this year, and I've only seen one cabbage worm on all of our brassicas because they're climbing all over every single plant. Beautiful to have them around like that. And it will mean, as things get towards the end of the summer, we'll just make sure we eat inside so they don't harass us very much. But at least we'll have food to eat because they're on our team. Massive squash. So we look at the food forest over this way. There's the rainwater that actually comes off the squash roof. So when we water it, we have a soaker hose up there. If we ever put a little bit too much water up there, it overflows into that. And then we have basically compost tea, which we can water all these other grapes with. We started another grape arbor in here. There's a whole bunch getting started there. And this one was an old grape that has been here for many years before we moved here. It was attached to the old shed that was falling down. So we've been able to save it. Sorry, I keep turning the camera around here. And down in here is the food forest. Parts of it anyways. We've got squash growing all over the place in there. We've got tea plants and comfrey and brassicas and squash, and look, more zucchini. It's amazing. All kinds of berry plants and Andean potatoes, and everything's going crazy down in there. It's quite a productive area. The squash is climbing around. Let's step over it. Very beautiful in here. Even some Jerusalem artichokes. Been having to weed out the squash around the tea plant. It's been taking over. There's like one squash plant in there. And then looking down in there, we got a mulberry and artichoke, and oh, can just peek through past the Gary oak there. I can see a Siberian ginseng, and it's going to be an amazing area when it grows up and the trees get bigger. There's an autumn olive, nitrogen fixer, attracts pollinators. There's Boo. Here's the other part of the food forest. We go under the grapes. Oh, another grape. And a plum. Maybe next year we'll get a plum off of that one. We're still just in the early stages of starting all of our fruit and nut trees, so. All kinds of berry bushes along here. Another raspberry bed started. More brassicas. The rabbits have been chewing on stuff in here. Got a pomegranate up there. Olive plant's doing really well. This is what we call nook and cranny gardening. There's little microclimates everywhere, so we try to plant appropriately. Set of stairs down in there, in front of the concrete water tank. It's the bin where we make compost tea. A kiwi arbor. Cherry tree. The beehive in there. Bees seem to be really happy these days. There's another microclimate down there. Got a squash plant and a tea plant, and actually got some amaranth that's doing well, despite how late it was planted. It actually had little heads on it. Be neat to experiment with that further. See if we can actually get a crop out of it. We're getting excellent crops of quinoa. Excellent crops. We grow those actually down in the chicken coop. I should go down there and video those too. It's quite beautiful. Quinoa is a beautiful plant. Anyways, there's part of the food forest.